What's good, Sect members? This is your boy, Patriarch Premium, and we need to talk about episode 11. But this time, we're going deeper into something that's been bothering me since I first saw it way back in ESoul's episode. The CEOs in this world aren't just rich, they're not just powerful, they're operating on a level that should be impossible for normal human. And I think Yang Cheng, our new ESoul, isn't the tragic orphan we think he is. I think he's a manufactured weapon. And Uncle Rock, he's been playing 4D chess this entire time. Buckle up, because this theory is about to get dark. Now, the biggest problem here is, let's start with the scene that broke my brain. Boa being absolutely terrified of Mickey. Picture this. Boa, who at this point in the timeline is X, the most powerful, most believed in person on the planet, gets that look from Mickey. You know the look. That wait till we get home mom stare that sends chills up your spine. And she responds like a scared child to what looks like a frail old man. How does that make sense? Mickey, the DOS boss, towers over every hero he interacts with. Every word implies power. We get constant flashbacks of him dropping lines like, "When you want something, your determination must outweigh your skill." His assistant mentions he's getting better at golf right as the heroes in his company rise up the ranks. That's not a coincidence. No, Sect members, that's a direct correlation. Here's what I think is happening. The CEOs are parasites feeding off their heroes' trust values. It mirrors our music industry perfectly. UMG, Universal Music Group, can build an artist from nothing, create industry plants, or trap rising stars in 360 deals, taking everything and just paying scraps. But in 2B Hero X, the consequences are more terrifying than just money. Think about the media control. Tree Man owns the airship LED ads. FOMO is basically Google, YouTube, and TikTok combined. DOS controls traditional print media in the 24/7 news cycle. And they don't just control the narrative, they control reality itself. Do you remember the advanced classes reveal? Trust value accelerates advancements in technology. AI, materials, energy, bioscience, media. Trust in science boosts scientists and improves science. Trust in media expands media reach. So trust in corporations should naturally directly boost CEO power. But that's not the full picture. The Hero Commission functions as the de facto government, controlling advertising and heroes without any elections. It's tyranny of the rich. It's oligarchy, but worse, because the people's belief literally create gods. It makes control absolutely imperative. Look at episode 11. Uncle Rock sells his FOMO stake and buys his way into MG leadership while Shan steps down to create Tree Man. It's malevolent in goal and incestuous in application, just like real life, but with supernatural consequences. Now here's where it gets conspiracy level dark. Queen's father, investigative journalist Lou, and Mickey all have connections to A4 Labs. They knew about fear before anyone else, and Mickey seemed excited to welcome it. This means fear development has tacit Hero Commission approval. Remember episode 8? That man spreading documents outside screaming about someone setting up the airplane crash? Talking about embrace fear years before the Lucky Cyan incident? A4 Labs has been developing fear since year 23 AC. And Spotlight, initially they seemed like villains in that first episode. But then you realize they operate outside the trust value system entirely. I think Spotlight was originally created by the Hero Commission, but went rogue. Like government puppet organizations that outlived their usefulness. Which brings me to the theory that's going to sound a little insane, okay? It's just a little insane. Yang Cheng's trust value, his zero trust value, is a fabrication. Hear me out, Sect members. Zero trust is too specific. Even Luo, the bad luck kid, bad luck with dead parents and constant bullying, has 10 like 10 trust. No amount of exclusion or self-doubt can naturally create someone with literally zero belief from anyone. The show confirms negative opinions generate trust value. A perfect 0 is more unbelievable than Cyan's luck. I could hold a door open and get 1 trust. I could help an old lady across the street and get 1 trust. Yang Cheng, who's graduating from college, he's athletic, he works with kids, he has a girl who's into him, and he's still at 0? That's impossible unless it's intentional. So here's my theory. Yang Cheng is a product of the Hero Commission. This is classic cultivation novel stuff, by the way. Put thousands of irons in the fire and hoping one pays out. Yang Cheng is one of many attempts at creating a controllable top-tier hero. I believe Uncle Rock was given approval to test hero replacement by the Hero Commission. Who cares how many orphans you create if you can replace a former ex? A 36-year veteran who saved the world with a pawn. Yang Cheng had his parents killed by order of the Hero Commission. ESoul saving him? A convenient coincidence arranged by people who knew ESoul's patrol routes. The boy was fed to the wolves. Every experience made negative to lock that trust at 0. But here's the kicker. His trust wasn't tied to Yang Cheng since his parents died. It was always set to resonate with the experiment target, ESoul. Look at the timeline. Yang Cheng gets 1 trust only when Little Pomelo calls him ESoul. Not Yang Cheng, ESoul. Uncle Rock sells his FOMO position to become MG head 2 years before Yang Cheng becomes new ESoul. 1 year after Yang started performing at MG Children's Paradise. Rock, a extremely powerful, influential, famous hero agency executive, is running MG's Children's Paradise next to his boba shop a full year before he owned MG, while he was still at FOMO. Yang somehow didn't know this was on the news? This was all planned. Just like Rock planned Pomelo's kidnapping to activate Yang Cheng. The boba shop was never a business. It was surveillance, a way to monitor the experiment target that was closest to success. All the CEOs are operating on this level. Sect, you gotta believe me. The trust boosts have them making galaxy brain Xanatos gambits, playing chess with people's lives and gambling with the Zeitgeist itself. They're not just rich businessmen, they're puppet masters manufacturing heroes and villains to maintain their control over a system where belief literally creates reality. Yang Cheng isn't a tragic hero who earned his power through suffering. He's a weapon crafted from childhood trauma and impossible circumstances designed to replace someone who might have questioned the system. But I need to know, am I cooking? Sect, are you picking up what I'm putting down, or am I completely off base? Episode 11 confirmed there are forces outside trust that can modify powers, willpower being the biggest one. So the faith theory is still alive, but now I think we need to add manufactured conspiracy to the mix. Next week, I'm diving into Gundam G-Quacks, but I'll keep you updated if these TBHX theories develop further. What do you think? Drop your theories in the comments. Are the CEOs parasites, puppet masters, or something worse? And until next time, keep treading that path of heaven. Deuces. I watched episode 12 recently, and it was crazy, man. That Queen fight, Queen versus Boa, was insane. If that 8-minute fight is anything, if that 8-minute fight is an example of the kind of fights we're going to get in the Hero Tournament, the next full season of TBHX, it's going to be bonkers. And it really does seem to validate the faith theory, since willpower affects the trust value boost. Even Queen mentions believing in herself is important. So it's all 9s there. I want to talk about more, as there's a lot of like question mark shit that happened at the end of this episode. I was watching it with Donna, and it was we got a little lost at the end, but I had some vibes there. I'm pretty sure that cliffhanger at the end of that episode is going to get picked up in the Johnny's 3 episodes, just like how episode 12 gives more context to the ending of episode 10 for Lucky Cyan's route. They're definitely laying some foundations, and that screenshot we have of Mickey and DOS trying to investigate X and figure out who he's connected with, and we get whole new characters like Hero 9 and that 4 question mark lady and rankings, SSS and everything, and the mystery. It's all there. They're feeding us these bits and pieces, and it's nice to see. Not entirely sure where this is gonna go, but I definitely like it.